All right, y'all. My bad. I know we last niggas in here talking. I seen that the views went down like crazy. They were like, man, what is that last nigga at? He ain't said nothing. But yeah, I was actually having a conversation about for the podcast and for the morning show. I got a reparations topic that's coming. So I was kind of trying to straighten that out, but at the same time, I wanted to go ahead and start the live because I told y'all I was going to do it at 11:30. But anyways, let me go ahead and acknowledge everybody that's in there. What's up, Smoothie? What's up, Ghostin? Steve, Takari, Support, Buckets, Kenny, Demarcus, um, let's see, anybody else new I see? Talia, Hezekiah. Think that's where it ends. Okay. Everybody that's in there, like I said, damn, that motherfucker say two people now. Damn. But I get it. Like I said, I was wrapping some things up, but at the same time, I had to go ahead and get that done beforehand. But anyways, we can go ahead and get started. Um, as you can see, we got our 5 topics. I'm gonna go ahead and go through them very briefly. Yeah, YouTube be lying, bro. I think YouTube be just capping about them numbers. Cause I show like, bro, it gotta be more than 2 people. But anyways, um, our topics for today, we got four as usual. Um, we got the most anticipated episode. So we can debate among what was the like most anticipated episode in Power history. Basically, we're dealing with all four, of the shows. Book 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I'm saying most anticipated episode, let's say one of the characters got shot, or they look like they may have gotten shot, or if they're gonna die or something like that, or somebody's getting ready to appear, things like that, where they created a lot of suspense, and like, man, I can't wait to see what's happening in this next episode. That type of thing. Then next up we have the greatest finesser of Power Universe. So basically, we know Power has a lot of finessing ass niggas. Niggas who always trying to get over, always fooling somebody to believe one thing, but they got an actual angle going on so that they can accomplish something else. There's a lot of characters that we can choose from. But as y'all can see, I got Lorenz Tate, aka Rashad, as the face of it right now. But who knows? Maybe y'all will be able to convince me that it's not Rashad. Um, then we also have. Hold on, I just noticed one of them ain't even up here. It didn't load up. Give me a second to put that up here. That third one then. It's this one there. Anyway, though, it is. We have Tasha versus Angela. Basically, in there, we're gonna debate which lady was the best pick for Ghost. Because as we know that he was kind of, if you pay attention, he really was torn in between the two. Like you can tell he loved Angela. She was the love of his life. Ultimately, it seems as if, he chose her. But he was still very much, into Tasha as well because of circumstances. He always needed her. And you can tell, like he even said at the end of the episode, end of the series, actually. He said he still had love for her, but she just wouldn't accept him for, who he wanted to be. So we're going to debate, was Tasha actually the better pick, or was it Angela? And lastly, we have Tasha the villain. So a lot of people, despite what I know, ladies, y'all probably would go against this one, but a lot of people believe that Tasha was the true villain of the original Power because of the lot of moves that she made and the things that she did. Some people actually be making a claim that Tasha was indeed the real villain of the show. So we're gonna talk about that as well. So that's our four topics, people. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the top, and then I'm gonna go ahead and cover and look at some of these comments, and we're gonna dive right on in it. I just always been, man, what's that's what I was probably gonna do. I guess y'all speaking among each other. What's up, Ali? The most anticipated episode was season 5, episode 1, when Dre shot Ghost and Kanan saved Ghost's life. I don't even know how you can make that claim, DeMarcus, but I'm going to definitely have that conversation with you. What's good, Ali? Okay. I'll say Power Book 2, episode Ghost, episode 310 for me was most anticipated. Okay, Ghost, and I'm gonna definitely get back to you and ask you why you feel that way. So go ahead and get your answer ready. I seen some people say Ghost was the real villain. Hey, we're gonna deal with that when we get to the bottom too. Cause hey, maybe Ghost was the real villain. I believe they took Burns. I mean, it took turns being the villain. So you're saying Ghost? Are you implying that Ghost and Tasha were taking turns being the villain? I mean, there's other people that were the villain people. You can make a claim for someone else. Like, keep in mind that we do got an ugly ass nigga named Kanan that's out there. But anyways, you said that's how I feel, Hezekiah. Are you agreeing with Ghost was the villain? The most anticipated episode was season 4, episode 10, when we were introduced to Branford Frady. Now that is a very strong argument there. I'll give you that one. I'm gonna come back to it. You said Kanan was the victim? That is crazy. That is crazy. Kanan himself said, I was never innocent. You need it. In fact, I just watched that episode today. Episode 406, when Ghost was saying, come on, Kay. We was kids. Crazy fucking kids trying to make moves. We were innocent. I was never innocent. You need it. Oh boy. So I don't know if you can make that claim, saying that he was the victim, love. But also, hey, big shout out to you, Ali. I did not know you joined the membership. I just seen that giant today when I was looking at my studio, and it said, hold on. I noticed that you had a special icon by your name. And I said, hold up. She joined the membership. So special shout out to you. Much love to you, Queen. Thank you for joining the membership. Just wanted to give you a shout out because I noticed that. But anyways, you said Dre was the villain. That's a strong argument too, because that man was ugly as hell. Ghost, Tasha, Kanan, Tommy, Tariq. Is that your order as far as the villains? I'm guessing. Kanan, the real villain. Tasha, a secondary villain. You can make that. You can definitely make that case. Um, Kanan wasn't a villain. He just wanted revenge. That's a villain, nigga. What are you talking about? The most anticipated OG Power episode for me was the finale. So, Sakari, let me get some clarification. Are you speaking of episode 610? No one can stop me, or are you speaking of 615? Um, what's the name of it? Exactly as we planned. Just seen a nigga wearing a Bomb Simmons jersey. That's random, but it is crazy. Who wears that? What's up, Marcus? Jay was the biggest villain. Two things can be true, Marcus. Tommy and Ghost, the real villain in Power. Anybody that killed their own son in cold blood is a villain. Facts. Exactly. Facts. There's no way you can not say this nigga's not a villain. My most anticipated episode was the one after Tommy killed Angela. I thought Ghost was gonna kill him for real. Okay, so you're talking about 615. Got it. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in a little further on some of these claims, right? So I'm gonna go, since I just brought yours up, let's go ahead and deal with 615. 615 um actually is a pretty strong argument because everybody wanted to know who shot Ghost. You know what I'm saying? But the only thing I will say about that kind of diminish the the anticipation for that particular episode was, if you remember, it got leaked before it actually aired. But yeah, a lot of folks was wondering, you know, who shot him? Was he actually dead? And then actually we kind of didn't even get the actual answer to that because he we still making arguments and claims that he's alive still to this day. So that's a very strong argument. The fact that you don't even know the answer, real answer to that episode. So that's still in the wind now. Uh, you said you can't fix this, so you're referring to episode 410, right after Angela was dead. So basically, right after 409, when Raina was shot, you're saying that you were very much eager to see the aftermath of what Ghost and Tasha and Tommy, of course, were going to do about the death of Raina. I must say, I remember me during that time was pretty excited that the actual death of Raina got spoiled for me because somebody leaked it. But yeah, I remember I actually watched episode 410 a lot of times. Like, in fact, that may have been my most watched finale of all time with Power. So I think that's actually another really good one. Let's see what else I seen up in here. As far as the anticipated um, episodes, I think that was it. And then of course we got the one with Breeze, which I think probably is the actual answer for me. That's probably my pick. How am I talking crazy right there? No, Marvin wasn't really a villain. I mean, you got to think about Marvin did what he did because Jukebox spit in his face. You got to remember that. She spit in his face, and after she spit in his face, he slapped her, and I think that slap was warranted. That's some of the worst thing you can do is spit in somebody's face. So it's not like he just did that out of nowhere. Most anticipated episode was Power Book 2, episode 405. Hey, that's up there, Hezekiah. I just thought about that. That's definitely up there because that's the episode, we found out that, Tariq was wearing the same attire as Ghost at the club. So a lot of people were anxious and was thinking that Ghost would return possibly that episode. But hey, I'm gonna throw you a curveball. How about episode 410, same season? Because keep in mind, people was like, with this being the last season of Ghost, people was like, Ghost might return in the end, and then it ends on a cliffhanger. I mean, of course, it ended up not happening, but a lot of people were pretty excited. There was a lot of YouTubers making videos about the possibility of it, including myself. So, that's a 410 is that actually got to be up there too. But like I said, to me, I think my pick is still stand. We're gonna have to go with 410 of Raising Canaan because that is the episode we finally got the long waited Breeze. I mean, let's be real. We've been talking about Breeze for over 11 years now. So over a decade, we have been waiting for Breeze. Everybody's talked about him. Everybody in a mama on the Power universe has been Breeze, according to the fans. Unique is Breeze. Symphony is Breeze. Famous is Breeze. Marvin is Breeze. Breeze don't exist. Breeze is, and we finally get him. You know what I'm saying? Akbar is Breeze. Everybody in their mama done became Breeze. And then we finally get him. And this nigga name is Branford Frady, dressed like Cole from Martin. So I gotta say, I think the answer for me is gotta be 410, Raising Canaan. Now but actually we can make a stronger claim about an episode that hasn't even aired yet. You know what I'm saying? We can make it a pretty strong claim for episode 501 of Raising Canaan because now we want to see Breeze in action. We don't heard so many stories about the nigga, heard of him and all that, but never actually seen him do anything. All we got in 410 is an introduction. So we get to see, you know what I'm saying, what he's like, what his personality like, possibly get that well anticipated, you know, episode of him watching Jeopardy. Finally get to see him doing that, having the same routine. And then on top of that, we get to find out whether or not uh we get to find out whether or not Rock is actually dead or not. So, I think that one is also a very highly anticipated episode, but it is derived from the episode 410. So for me, 410 is the answer. All right. The argument for Ghost was the real villain is based on several characters, flaws, and actions that drive the plot conflicts. On both Ghost power to the can't fix this too. Hold on, so you're referring to, oh yeah, I can't fix this and you can't fix this. I just thought about it. So you're talking about on Ghost, I can't fix this, which is the episode Diana lost the baby and ended up taking out Felicia. Ghost can only still be alive if he's in a wheelchair. I don't know. Therapy, I mean, look how many years it's been. That boy could have went through some very intense therapy and got back to walking. We all thought Ghost was gonna pop up on Tariq at Truth somehow. Yeah, a lot of people were saying that. You showed all he showed all they tried to do still led to tragedy for Ghost slash Tasha and Tariq slash Diana. Time repeats. Well, you actually trying to make a strong argument now. Tariq the real villain. Ghost should have gave him a dirt name. We gonna get to that. And that's actually crazy that you might actually have a point on that. I think he talking about me talking crazy because I said book 2, episode 405 was the most anticipated. Oh. Finding out the breeze was Cole Brown was the most disappointed episode. Hey, you so the most disappointing and the most anticipated came both align with the same thing? Because you still was anticipating on saying them. It's just when you did say them, it wasn't what you thought. She said, "Who the fuck is Cole Brown?" From Martin, there. I'm still disappointed in that introduction. I don't know why y'all so against that introduction. I wasn't too mad about it. The fixed episodes unraveled Ghost and Tasha, but in book two, I mean in Ghost book, it it bonded Diana and Tariq. True. Never really looked at it from that perspective, but yeah. Yeah, I didn't think Branford was too bad. Kanan killed an old lady for Bree's old apartment. That had to make him a villain. Exactly. That's another very strong claim. That bad ain't as hell. I don't know what y'all talking about. Dre was a bigger villain than Kanan. Dre had the scrap on his mother. He did do that, but we just saw in Raising Kanan that Kanan had a scrap on his mother and allegedly shot her. So what are we talking about? He did stab Father Callahan too, though. The mind ignorant as hell for that. No cap. Dre used his buddy as a human shield. Yeah, he did that. That mind was ignorant. Gotta keep it 100. That mind was ignorant. Hmm. It's funny how this supposed to be the same Canaan in book three that loved his grandma. Hey, it would make sense if that lady turned out to be Pop a little bit though, right? Jay was not a bigger villain than Kanan. Probably not, but the Marcus always want to go against the grain. Yeah, I agree. 100% Breeze better bring it. Like they better not disappoint us with that. Breeze will be in the action during season 5 of Raising Kanan and in Orders. Absolutely, he has to be. Now, most anticipated gonna be when we think Tommy and James gonna be introduced in Raising Kanan and Forrest. If we think Ghost gonna pop up on Tommy, yeah. If it's ever, which I would say absolutely without a doubt, there is going to be episodes that's gonna make it. Even if Ghost doesn't show up in Force, they're definitely gonna write it to make it look like he may show up. They're gonna do that shit. So I can agree with that. And in my opinion, I think the only episode or thing that could possibly trump the Breeze situation, because we waited on Breeze for so long, is Ghost resurfacing. To me, that's the only thing that can trump it because Ghost is the biggest character of the franchise. And of course, after us having have seen him for now going on 6 years, for him to finally return would be amazing. So it absolutely would trump Breeze finally showing up. And I told y'all, in my opinion, that's what I think they was gonna do. I'm halfway there already. I said they was gonna give us Breeze this year. They did. And I said, Force, they're gonna drop Ghost. Let's see. Big Bad Wolf Dre was shaking every time Kanan came around. That's a fact. Yeah, that's crazy. He had a serious path to darkness. Dre eliminated Donovan in front of heaven was, bruh. I ain't gonna lie to y'all though. The more DeMarcus is talking, the more he's strengthening his argument. Cause Dre was absolutely ignorant as hell, bro. He snaked Julio. The man did hold a gun to his mama. He actually threw his baby mama. Keep this in mind, y'all. He threw his baby mama under the bus too. Because remember when he first was supposed to went into Witset, he told them, I don't need the baby mama. I just need my daughter. So that nigga was gonna leave her behind. Snaps and Pops introduction to Kanan introduce Kanan to their nephew Breeze. This is a pivotal moment as Breeze's character familiar to Power fans who eventually partnered with Kanan to build a drug empire in 410. Thanks for that synopsis, nigga. What's up, Ratsu? All these episodes anticipated. No, not all of them. Kanan killed an old woman and was holding Dre's baby. Threatening to his lad didn't do that. That mind is not dead, bro. We ain't accepting that. At least I'm not. The sins of the blood line never get happy ended. They still mad is not unique. I just thought of I just thought our first scene of Breeze would be something legendary or classic. That's all. I think he'll kill the role. I didn't care who Breeze was. Way too much hype behind the name for somebody we never seen before. The younger generation see the real better to me. Okay. If Shamik Moore doesn't do a good job, it's Breeze. It's the biggest fumble. I agree. If that do happen, that will be the biggest fumble. And I honestly, I don't even think you can make an argument about it. I like the Breeze introduction. I know the actor is going to kill the role in the upcoming season of Raising Kanan. Yeah, like I was cool with the introduction, and I absolutely agreed. I think he will kill the role. I would be highly disappointed if he didn't. Like I would be kind of shocked, to be honest with you. Rock attempt to salvage her business and family, however he confident. Her confident with unique escalates with unique. Oh man, the writers might fumble him on purpose. Support. They better not do that shit. I like Bree's introduction as well. Keep us as viewers and fans suspenseful of his character. I can agree with that a lot, bro. And I think that's what the goal of the writers were. That's the goal that they had. They thought, let's give them an introduction, give you a few, minor details about them to have you still wondering who is he? Okay, now we see him. We know his name. We know he's, you know, the nephew of Snaps and Pop. But what else about him? You know what I'm saying? It makes you a little bit more anxious to watch the next episode to really figure out who his character is. Who is he for real? Because we know we got Kanan's, version of him of how he was, what I'm saying. And I think the thing that's standing out the most that folks are, sticking with that really making us curious is the saying that he was strong but not smart. And then of course you got Snaps who introduced him as a very brilliant person, right? So we're curious of like how that worked out because one saying he wasn't smart and basically his Snaps is saying he's one of the smartest person you'll ever meet. So it's going to be interesting to see how the writers spin it and write it out to make both of the situations be true. Yeah, he definitely sent Tariq to die as well. Dre did that as well. Dre snitched on Cristobal and Alicia because he was jealous. He wasn't Alicia Jimenez number two anymore and didn't get to smash her himself. Yeah, he did that. That mind did a lot of bad shit, bro. Like he ambushed Ghost, sent Ghost and Tommy to a trap. The mind was ugly, bro. The mind absolutely was ugly. Y'all got it. I don't know. But we gonna get, like I said, we gonna get there to the villain part. We ain't quite made it there yet. Breeze was Kanan's first mentor and drug. Okay, this nigga. Dre was a prodigy of Kanan and Ghost. He was. He like he said, he learned from the best. He learned from both being a super savage from Kanan, I guess. And, how to finesse the game with just like um Ghost. Well, Kanan was a major finesser too. So which but speaking of the finessers, that is our next topic. I think I'm about to go ahead and move on. The greatest finessers of the power universe. So, as we know, it was a lot of finessing ass niggas that came out of power, both original and in the spinoffs. But I think the original got the other ones beat. It's some finessing ass niggas up in the original, but and without you know intensely and thoroughly researching and thinking it over, my answer to the greatest finesser is probably Rashad. And I'm gonna hold my answer on the reasoning why I'm picking Rashad, but I would love to hear y'all answers and try to convince me that it's someone else. Even though Kanan is a villain, but at least he cared about loyalty. Dre had no loyalty other than to his daughter. Then again, ain't no friends in the streets. Yeah, that nigga didn't have no. I don't know though. Let me ask you this: you don't think he had some loyalty to Two Bit though? Because he never really screwed Two Bit over. Like he could have did some grimy stuff to Two Bit. Because remember when Two Bit first messed up and took out that Taros Locos dude that he didn't supposed to take out. Um, Cristobal was telling him he needs to go ahead and take out Two Bit. But instead of doing that, he just decided to, strip him of his ranking and letting them stay around. So, I mean, I think he may have had a somewhat loyalty to Two Bit. What do you think? So, support says snap and pop, and I gotta say, you might be right. Because Dufos ain't his head. That's impossible for this man. Niggas, man. They done finessed them folks been in the season only what 2 seasons and has turned the whole show upside down of how much they finessed. They made a son shoot a mother, then got a basically got two other people killed because of it while making someone else thinking everybody else thinking somebody else. Them some finessing ass niggas. But at the same time, we've only seen them for 2 seasons. So is that strong enough to say he's a bigger finesser than Rashad and, you know, Ghost, shit, Kanan, hell, even Rocker for this dad nigga. So it's a people out there, who finesse Dre, who finesse game is absolutely strong. You said Ghost and Dre are the top manipulators. I don't know. I don't know. Tariq is colder than Tate. Even Tariq finessed him a few times. Hold on. When did Tariq finesse Tate? Simon Stern was the biggest finesser. How was Simon Stern the biggest finesser? He was trying to finesse and kept getting finessed in the midst of trying to get me finessed. Because he was trying to finesse Ghost, but Ghost was spending on him and finesse his ass. So I don't know if you can make that claim. Though Courtney decided to keep Too Big around. I mean, regardless if she decided to do that, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, she still, that goes into his character that, he's being kept around and Dre, Slick being loyal to by keeping him around, right? Western Holdings was the biggest for that. Yeah, but that's a event that happened, not a person. So unless you want to make a claim that what's his name? What was the uncle name? Um I would need to know the uncle's name, but who made Western the big ass Ponzi scheme? Who didn't ghost finesse outside of maybe Tariq? Uh, you got a good ass point because I'm trying to think of somebody he did finesse. The nigga know finesse there, man. He finessed Tariq. What you talking about? He finessed Tariq, but still forcing his ass to go to jail. He thought go to college. He thought he was out scot free after he thought he killed. Especially if he ended up still being alive, that means he pulled off the ultimate finesse. The answer actually might be ghost people, but I wanted to keep it interesting, like DeMarcus would say, by saying Rashad. And I'm gonna give y'all my argument, my strongest argument to try to convince y'all that it's Rashad right after I finish all these comments. He finessed Ghost a little bit, but Ghost was able to flip it on him. So, and he really didn't even finesse him, really. He kind of just strong armed him. He strong armed him into doing certain things with him, but he didn't finesse him because Ghost was able, like he said in episode 5, I don't remember exactly what episode it was, but it was in the 5th season when, Simon Stern returned. And, Ghost was like, Simon, you gonna let him walk all over us? And he was like, I came back from something and to deal with, I forget what place he said he came back from, but he was like to deal with this bullshit. And he was like, everything I've ever thrown at you, you was able to wiggle your way out of it. Well, wiggle away, my good friend. When he said that. So basically, even Stern was able to say, I kept trying to finesse you, but you kept getting your way out of it and finessing me. So, nigga, you need to put some of that magic to play now. Yeah, Lucas. Lucas was a finesse dad. Lucas was finessing. That nigga finessed what? He finessed 3 big ass um, chunks of money. That nigga finessed Tariq, the Tajadas, and RSJ. That nigga was finessing his ass off for sure. Monet was the biggest finesser. How? I don't think you even have a chance at making a strong enough argument with that. But anyway, since I'm caught up on the comments, I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all my answer to why I believe I'm gonna make an argument for Rashad. So keep in mind the introduction to this finessing ass nigga, which was in what 407, episode 407. He introduced himself, all that. Bless your sister, good brother. Keep the faith. New York leads the way. All that bullshit this nigga do. All that shit is a front. Then he finesse goes into, getting on his side. Keep in mind, he the only one that I can say successfully finessed Ghost. And Ghost didn't see it coming. And he kept doing stuff. Him and Dre, because Dre was able to put up a fight too. So Dre was a finesse ass nigga too. But remember, he was skimping the funds out of the Queen's Child project. He finessed his way to the what is he, a congressman now? So now he finessed his way to that seat. And the biggest icing on the cake of why I'm telling y'all that is Rashad. This nigga got a whole spinoff that he was supposed to get that was basically based off his finessing, people. Come on. Power Book 5 finesse. That's what they should have called it. Because think about it. Power Book 5 influence. When you're influential, what are you doing? You have the ability to convince people to do things that you want them to do. That's what influence is. So basically, influencing somebody is low key one and the same as finessing somebody. Because if you're able to influence them to do a certain thing, whether it's actually the truth or not, you know what I'm saying? You're a major finesser. So that's why I say it's tape. Yeah. Heavy. That was one of the funniest shit too, bro. I remember that. When Rashad showed up, he said, save the good brother speech. And another, hey, Tasha told him the same shit too. Tasha was like, when he showed up in what was that? What episode that was? It was in the sixth season. And she was like, cut the shit, Rashad. The cameras are now. He was cut the act. That's what she said. Cut the act, Rashad. The cameras are now. And he was like, what act? No, I get damn well he know what she talking about. Bro, get your finesse dance on. Bro, I think, like I said, Ghost is definitely between Ghost and Tate, people. I honestly, I don't think anybody else has an argument. Them some finesse dad niggas. Yeah, Ali. I forgot about that part too. In book two, when he was lying his ass off talking about talking about what he said about Ghost was just a sparring between two brothers, but he never seen none of it. He pulled him up. You a lying ass nigga. Bro, it's Rashad, bro. I'm telling y'all, bro. That's what that bad nigga. Rashad didn't finesse Simon Stein. I mean, I don't think he ever tried to finesse Simon Stein, though. That's the thing. He may have didn't, but he didn't try to either. Yeah, he got it from Sweden for sure. But how was he able to get it? He finessed the shit out them folks' ass. He basically strong armed them to the point they couldn't say no. I said, I sent some Bitcoin for take my dance. Rashad Tate had finessed by he said he got finessed by Don Carter. But you gotta think about it. That's a little different. There's no way he could have really have known that that wasn't the case. He wasn't there. And then they only gave him one episode. But I can guarantee you this. And whatever the new spinoff is gonna be, um, when they return, when both Rashad and Don Carter return, Rashad is gonna figure it out. Guarantee you that. Right, Slam. He finessed his own brother. That's so did you. That's the shit that he said. Finessed crew and them when they was trying to, hey, you remember when he was lying to his brother and their wife when what's his name? Crew son approached him and held a gun and Kamal had to save him. And when he got up in the house, he over there talking about some, yeah. And I said, just take my wallet, good brother. That nigga was lying his ass off, bro. That nigga be that's a finesse ass nigga, bro. I don't care what y'all say. He was finessing a man woman out. It showed him like was, bro. And then when he got caught, the shit was funny. Then remember he finessed her for some more. He smashed her ass one more time and then told her if she moved fast enough, she could catch an Uber with Ramona. Oh shit, bro. They definitely finessed Ghost and Tasha to do a press conference about each other like did. And he finessed them to do the wedding. I mean to do the funeral ceremony so that he can broadcast. Remember that shit? The mind wasn't playing, bro. You sleeping on how Tariq finessed Ghost, Tommy, and Tasha into coming up with $2 million for a pretend kidnapping. How they get finessed by a kid. That's a good try, Takari. But even if I wanted to give you full credit for that, that's just one incident. This nigga Rashad has countless incidents of finessing people. And I would say the only reason why he was able to pull that off is because he was a kid. If he was an adult, it wouldn't have worked. So they only did that because all of them was emotionally invested in, in him because that was their son, and of course Tommy, that was his nephew. It's the only reason why they went ahead and went through with it. And keep in mind, later on, the next episode, Tasha let it be known that she knew it was a finesse. She just they still had to get him back from Vincent because they knew Vincent meant business. So I can't even give you full credit for that. It don't matter if Simon Stern called out with shot. A lot of people called him out. It still didn't change the fact that that nigga was a finesse dad nigga. Hey, support. I was thinking that. I'll give you that. Davis is a finessing ass nigga too, for sure. Is he on Rashad level? Not quite, I don't think. But he should be up there. He in the top 5. That's a finessing ass nigga. I ain't justifying nothing, nigga. I'm speaking the facts. That shit was so funny, right? Ramona was gonna get him too. Bruh, that's why I said, Ali, look, I said if they do go ahead and go forward with influence, bro, they need to have Rashad and Davis both in the same one. Cause that should be good. Them are two finessing ass niggas. He sure did get finesse in his own finesse. Cause what he did was actually dumb because Vincent was actually planning on killing him. He was just using him to get the money. Hey, you say Rashad couldn't finesse with Ramona? Well, you can't get them all. You feel me? That's just like Dr. Umar. Let me stop. Let me stop. Before I start something. To refinesse his dad out of his whole net worth in one day. Oh shit. But at the end of the day, bro, the child was still in danger. You gotta consider that. Um, welcome to the channel, Ladarius Williams. I appreciate you too. Appreciate the comment. Just because you say fact don't mean it's true. Hey, when I say it's a fact, it is true, nigga. Hey, I don't want this argument, bro. I don't sold it, bro. It's absolutely with Sean, bro. Y'all can try to spin around it and make a case for other niggas, which I'll give y'all a little bit of of a lenient with saying certain characters like Ghost maybe, but you can't make a case for Tariq. You really can't make a case for nobody else, if you ask me. Rashad is a finessing ass nigga. What if Kanan met Rashad or Davis? Uh, you asking what would they encounter be like? See, I don't think I don't think Kanan would mess around really with folks like that too much. If you pay attention, Kanan stays away from high profile people. Kanan really only messes with other street niggas. If somebody that's high profile, he kind of avoids them. I can give you a few examples. Even though this guy was a street nigga, he didn't want nothing to do with him. That's Milan. He also stayed away from Simon Stern. When he seen ghosts around Simon Stern, he didn't want to mess with. He didn't make no moves around him. He waited till Ghost was alone, then got him. And as far as Rashard, I don't think they just never had nothing to do. But my guess is that he wouldn't really try him because he's way too high profile. It just brings too much heat. So would he try to finesse him? Probably. I would say probably not. If Ghost would have let Tariq die, he'll still be alive. I mean, that might be the truth, but I think he still is alive. But still, at the end of the day, you come on, Takara. You know how you would feel if that was your child. You absolutely, take that chance, even if you know it's a finesse. Because Vincent is a known killer. That's a leader of a major operation that doesn't give a damn about folks. Tate hires a hitman crew and his son Carter to kill his political rival James St. Patrick. Well, I appreciate that synopsis again. Sachs had his chef. Yes, you right, Slim. Sachs a finessing ass nigga too, no doubt. Rashad Tate was a former cop also. That's why Kanan didn't cross Rashad Tate. Yeah, so they just either way. See, I think this nigga Rashad didn't have no limits to who he finessed. Long as he seen an angle to be able to do it, he did that shit. Whatever they said he did that shit. They making Kanan character seem like Unga Boonga type of nigga. Hey, it is what it is. I mean, the proof is in the show. He did that. He avoided those type of niggas. But anyways, I think I don't risk my case on it's being Rashad. You right about that, Talia. He did he did get most of the time that nigga did get caught up. Every time he was trying to pull out a finesse he was trying to do, it never worked really. So that's actually a very good point. He tried to finesse a lot though. It just didn't work. Yeah, YouTube was having some issues earlier too, man. Nigga can't look at stuff. Oh, shit. Mecca deserves an honorable mention. He was engaged to Noma and Monet at the same time, using two different names, all while supplying Monet's husband and son without even getting called up. I think, hey, I would give you a little love on this one because that is true. I just think he didn't have enough time to become the ultimate finesser. That's a finesse ass nigga too. Kane didn't really finesse people too much. He had a couple of things, like of course taking the product and replacing it with sugar. But he didn't have too many strong cases of it because Kane's not really the smartest of people to be able to pull shit like that out. Time Sachs got caught up. He found a way out up until his death. Yeah, he was definitely slippery. No doubt. That nigga. That now, if I would say the greatest survivors, then that nigga Sachs is the goat of that. That nigga kept on slipping through the cracks. Oh shit. That's because Monet vagina was top 10. It seemed like it. The way them folks was acting. We got three people that we know hit it. They was all super strong. I don't know. Can y'all say Lorenzo was super strong? Because Lorenzo wasn't just following everything Monet say. So I don't know if Lorenzo was that strong, but absolutely Mecca and Officer Ramirez, yeah, they were. The biggest finesse was Pinky. She had her run. In time to be. That is crazy, nigga paying them hoes tuition though. I ain't gonna lie. Nah, I don't know about that. In his heaven death scene, Lorenzo was like, F that bitch. That's how I saw it. Shit. All right, though. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next one. You feel me? Let's see. Mecca and Ramirez was from. Renzo was in love. Yeah, I can agree with that because, like I say, it didn't seem like he just was following behind her the way because when he figured out about the situation with Zeke and shit, he damn near was ready to go ahead and let her walk. Lorenzo wasn't super sprung on that because he was on the down low. That's how he knew Drew was gay. Nigga, stop. When he was at the dinner table as a ghost, when he was at the dinner, what's that referring to? Let me see. Not sure. Steven, you're not spitting theories though. You dropping show descriptions, guy. Hey man, who went out worse, Lorenzo or Monet? What's up, Miles? Who went out worse? I mean, easy Lorenzo. At least Monet got a nice ending. She went down swinging, smoking guns. This nigga Lorenzo went out bad. Got his shit slit. And it was unexpected. I mean, I knew he was about to die once Monet was suspicious of him, but still, he didn't get a good ending. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and drop down to this next one, y'all. And the next one, we getting on to the good stuff. We got Tasha versus Angela. Two love interests of your boy Ghost. Now, as we know, we started it off, he with Tasha and stuff like that. Stuff seemed to be going, smooth. Then of course, in walked Angela, who turned Ghost world upside down. But even in the midst of that, Ghost was still asking, Tasha, when we met, what did you think I was gonna be? And then of course, she only saw him as a drug dealer. And he even made a second attempt saying, this club could be the dream. We could have it all. And then of course her reply was, we already have it all. If you talk about the club, that's less. She was trying to convince him how he's the best at what he do. The people, and after he even told him he don't know any dead, old wrinkled drug dealers that dead are inside. And she was like, they not you. All kinds of delusional, crazy BS. Just for her to later on try to go legit herself with another nigga. The ultimate spit in the face. And then Angela, on the other hand, he could go legit for her because that's all she knew him as. You know what I'm saying? She didn't really know the drug side of him. She knew about rumors of it, but it seems as if, she never really seen him as a drug dealer. So it seemed like she was the match in heaven, right? However, with the lifestyle of what Ghost went through, he had to constantly be watching, looking over his shoulders, constantly doing deals and stuff behind or murders behind her back. And it was becoming an ongoing, escalating thing that it seems like their relationship was never going to happen. So I'm opening the question out to y'all in y'all opinion. Who ultimately was the better pick for Ghost? Was it Angela or was it Tasha? Let's look at these comments. If he loan Kane the money back, he'll give it back to her with interest. I mean, she did give him the money back though. So I mean, he kind of, his simping kind of didn't go. You know, he kind of was able to get a return on his simping. All Tasha had to do was introduce herself as the wife. Yeah, to prevent the situation that happened with between Ghost and Angela, to keep it from escalating to where it got to. I always said introducing herself, flashing her ring in front of Angela would have absolutely derailed the situation between her and Ghost. But she decided to act like a helpless little kind of a white girl and just walk off and get in her feelings about it, which is not typical for a hood black girl, just keeping it 100. But hey, that's the story they told. Tasha and Angela are sister wives. Hell, you mean by that? Angela was mid as fuck. Tasha, Keisha, and Sissy were better looking than her. I was wishing with Tasha and Keisha maybe, but come on, Sissy, stop lying, bro. Anyways, I don't hate you, Steven, but read the room, buddy. That shit more funny than anything we try to save your embarrassment. I'm over that line y'all use on Tasha. Look at all he was still doing. Well, we didn't get to see that though, Ali. Let's think about this. We don't know how it would have turned out because we didn't get to see it. Maybe if she would have done that, perhaps we could have got a different outcome. I dislike Tasha and Angela equally. I couldn't even pick between them. He corrupted Angie too. It was Ghost bad juju. And we ain't talking about Ghost though. We ain't for to flip that on Ghost. We asking who was the better pick. Tasha wasn't smart. She was just trying to protect her investment in the kids and Ghost money and Ghost money. My pick is Angela. Okay, so we gotta vote for Angela. Tasha, she really knew him for what he was. So we got to pick for Tasha. That's 1-1. Ghost didn't corrupt Angela. She loved the drug lord side deep down. In a way, I think I can kind of rock with what you're saying a little bit support because I do think in a way, you know what I'm saying? Even if girls don't like dudes is in that type of lifestyle, I think to a degree, they probably like, you know what, it do feel good to know that he got this side of him on him though. You know what I'm saying? If I really needed him to go there, he can go there. Come on, y'all, you got a minute, ladies. You do love that to a degree. Say I'm lying. Talia said something I missed. What Tommy say? Angel's cat must be made up of. You saying when he was saying her is made of acid or something like that? Ramona was the better pick. Jane, I thought about putting Ramona in this Demarcus, but I decided no, I'm just gonna leave it Tasha and Angela because I think it's you know kind of obvious maybe between Ramona, but at the same time, I can make an argument that you can't say Ramona too. To be honest with you, everybody is entitled to their opinion on this channel. Let's try to keep it respectful though in our interactions. Yeah, I'm heavy on the respect and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't mind the trolls though. The trolls do be funny. Long as but yeah, keep trolling respectful. When Tasha mama slapped her, she told her she wasn't smart enough. That was a dead giveaway. She did say that. You ain't strong or smart enough to do this by yourself. You think you're gonna stay in my house after that? Yes. Cause who's gonna help you with the twins? And then while you cook, what do you say? What you do something for your ass? Good night, Tasha. Ramona was better for James. Angela loved Jamie, and Tasha loved Ghost. That's a great way to put it, Demarcus. I like that. So Ramona loved James. So James, so let's put it like this, according to what Demarcus is saying, right? Ramona liked James. James is the new man, the guy that's in real estate, that's going legit, that's now a politician, and basically Angie loved Jamie. Jamie is the guy that she grew up to love. You know what I'm saying? She grew up knowing Jamie, and of course Tasha loved Ghost, which is the drug dealer, the street guy. So that's a very good appealing argument to put it up in there. So I guess you can say each one of them was good for three different parts of James slash Jamie slash Ghost life. Smash. Okay, I ain't gonna lie to you. Sister wives is not nothing common in where I'm from. At least I don't hear it a lot. Angie would be the better choice, but his drug dealing past would always be a problem. I'm gonna get ready to give y'all my answer in a few once I catch up on all the comments. In real life, Tasha would have probably hit Angela the head, upside the head with a bottle in a club. Fact. More than likely, she would have did something to her. So we got another vote for Tasha. So, Takara, did you give me your vote? No, I don't think you did. Ghost wanted to lead the drug game and become a legitimate businessman, and Angela supported the dream, while Tasha preferred the criminal lifestyle and didn't want him to go legit. Okay, that's not giving me an answer, bro. Tasha trash, Angela trash. Nigga, you gotta pick somebody to the bar. Cause damn, and it can't be Roberta because I didn't put her in the topic. Tasha held it down for Ghost plenty of times, but she seemed to be entertaining Ghost before Angie showed up. That's true. We all know Ramona was the best choice, but not a choice here. Right. I agree. You know what the answer is, Ramona. At least Angela had a job. Tasha had no source of income. Well, I'm gonna give Tasha some grace on that. I think that's a little unfair because keep in mind, Tasha was in school to become an accountant and she wanted to have a career at singing. She gave both of those up to pursue a life with ghosts. She got married, and let's be real, there's plenty of housewives that's never a knock for you to be a good housewife if you're a good woman to your man. If you help support your man and help him achieve more riches and you're actively, fulfilling his sexual desires and needs while taking care of the children, you're doing more than enough as a good wife. So I'm not gonna count her not having a physical job against her because her job was taking care of the kids and supporting ghosts. Keep in mind, she did have a job technically because she did the books for them. She's the reason that he was able to keep all the money, dirty money, legit. So you can argue that was her job. Angela never came back for him all that time. So what love did she really have? She forgot him. Ooh, ooh. She slick just threw a haymaker because Ghost even admitted in episode one, the very first episode, he thought even after, his father passed away, she would reach out, but she didn't. And she said she knew if she did, she'd get stuck back in. So basically, and she also, said that, even though her parents made her go to the school, she didn't fight them. So that goes to tell you that Angie, I'm gonna go ahead and just give my answer. Matter of fact, forget it. My answer is Tasha, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. This is great that we so happen to be on this topic while I'm delivering this answer because, like she just highlighted, Ali just highlighted, she Angie ultimately chose her career over Ghost. That's what she did because she wanted to choke when she had an opportunity to stay there with Ghost. Keep in mind, like she said, she didn't fight it. Now, I'm not saying that Angie was necessarily wrong for doing this, but the facts are she did do it. Tasha, on the other hand, was going to school for an accountant and she was a talented singer. She was also still very young. She could have chose her career. She could have said, "Hey, Ghost, I can't stop what I'm doing to help you run your empire. I need to make sure I'm secure for myself. So I need to finish my schooling, and then after I do that and I have my own job and stuff like that and secure, if you still want to do it, maybe we can do it then." She could have done that, but no, she dropped everything to side by Ghost. Now, granted, it seemed like she was in love with the fast money and the lifestyle. We can do that. But to keep in mind also that Tasha was the wife. That's also what you know pretty much put the nail in the coffin too. The fact that she's the wife, she's the one that knows everything. Keep in mind, Angie didn't know everything. He had to hide stuff from Angie. He had to rely on stuff with Tasha. Big difference. And keep in mind, with them having kids together, now you have to, risk a chance of your kids having a sour taste in their mouth towards you because of you leaving her for another woman. When it seems as if, your life was pretty good. Like she was good enough for you to stay. You didn't want to leave her at first throughout all those years. So the fact that you can live either side of the life, because I think if Ghost, like I always said this too, if Ghost would have worked harder, you know what I'm saying, to make sure Tasha was on board. But like all he had to do, because keep in mind, how many times did we see Ghost make a decision that Tasha didn't necessarily like, but Tasha's, bit her tongue and went with it. We've seen it a couple of times. I can give you a few of that examples. The most recent one that I just watched in season 4, when Simon Stern was doing that interview to polish Ghost image after he had just gotten out of jail. Tasha didn't want to do the interview, but what did Ghost do? He told her, "Look, we'll be ready as will my wife." That's what he did. He made the decision, and Tasha went along with it. We've seen that same thing happen a couple of times when he told her to take off that dress and wear that purple dress that I told you to wear in episode 1. What did Tasha do? Took that dress off and put on that purple dress. So that tells me there that Tasha was to a degree submissive. So all he had to do, if he really, really wanted it, was say, "Look, Tasha, I'm telling you, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, the drug life is done. We're not doing that shit no more. We're going to focus on the clubs. Because I'm telling you, this is the new wave. We can do it this way. That way, our kids will have legit money for the rest of their lives, and we won't have to keep looking over our shoulders. If Tommy's not going to get on board, then I'm sorry. Tommy's going to have to live his own life. But that is what we're doing. If he would have put it down like that, Tasha would have got on board, and eventually they could have kept their family together, and it would have worked. There's no circumstances with him being with Angie that it could have 100% worked, even though she was the one that was best for possibly that he loved the most. But if we're talking about who was just the better pick, I'm gonna have to go with Tasha. All right, so I seen that we got. Hold on. Super chat. People got to give you a super chat or a super sticker for reading Steve. Oh shit! Hey, bro, you got to be stopped, bro. Oh shit! Hey man, chill out on this man. Long gas synopsis. All right, let me go back up to where I left off, man. Mm-mm-mm. I told y'all Ghost was mentally ill. He had too many sides to him. He could choose for his self. That is a great way to break it down, DeMarcus. Omari official definitely analyzed the character in that perspective. Yep, that was a great. It was a great breakdown for sure. I gotta agree with that. Linda finessed the hell out of James. She did. She did. I forgot about that, but she definitely did. Tasha was the best choice out of the two. I agree. Could Angela? No, actually, Angela couldn't cook. If you pay attention, when she was cooking with when she was trying to cook for Ghost when they was getting ready to have dinner, but you remember in season one, Ghost ended up having to have that dinner with Simon Stern, so he ended up not making it. She was asking Paz what to put in everything and how to cook it. And then remember when Tariq and Raina and Yaz first came over for the first time, they was like they had the food and they were saying it was good. Raina was trying to say the food was good and she was like, "Thanks, but your dad cooked it." So that tells you there that she wasn't the cook. And if you pay attention, you never saw Angie cooking. She was always getting takeout. She was ordering food, eating at a restaurant. She wasn't a cooker. Now Tasha was a cooker. So that's another big up for Tasha. Ramona wasn't sad when Ghost died at all. I think she was looking for a come up. I don't know. I don't know because if she was looking for a come up, the easier pick would have been just to side with Rashad. She didn't do that, so I would have to disagree with that because Rashad was already the nominee. Ghost, and he was the nominee for governor, not for lieutenant governor. So yeah, that don't make sense. Now, I think she wasn't too emotional when Ghost died is because she know he's not dead. Ramona was trying to get a rebound. Yeah, Tasha is it, bro. Tasha was definitely the better pick. I don't care what nobody say. Fans believe Ramona had a ulterior motive in her relationship with Ghost, using him for a political agenda. That ain't true, nigga. Because you ask me, this is the first I've heard of it, and I know I don't interacted and seen a lot of Power fans. I actually never seen nobody say that until tonight. Angie could pull Ghost out of legal trouble. Also true. Still, I don't think that make her the better pick. Because keep in mind, Angie is gonna keep her limit. She's gonna have limitations to what she do for her. We know this because she showed that to us already. It's not like that nigga. Now, if she full on was like, all right, baby, it don't matter what you do, I'm gonna support you. So even if you get in legal trouble, I'm gonna work my magic to make sure you good. Then that'd have been cool, but that wasn't the case with her. She was even willing to arrest that nigga for certain crimes. She did arrest the nigga and was going to get that nigga life. It's crazy. That's another thing. Tasha could never do that to him. After all the stuff that Tasha been through with Ghost, she would never send him to jail. Like Proctor said, she would never send him to jail, or she wouldn't do nothing. She wouldn't do nothing to potentially get him knocked off. The only reason why she was willing to go through with possibly taking him out in the end was because she felt like he was a threat to her own children. And outside of that, she's not she's not gonna do nothing that can really harm him. Exactly, exactly, bro. She put the nigga in legal trouble. Y'all forget Angie arrested Ghost for the one thing he did exactly to Leah. The woman who ruled our lives. The woman who he's doing it with her. The woman who ruined our lives. The woman who came in that the woman who arrested Ghost for the one fucking thing he didn't do. Hey, that's a big fact, man. Even Tariq knew that. Tasha stood by him doing that. Yeah, Tasha stood by him through a lot of shit. That to be keeping 100 with you, these little skanks in today's time would not do. Let's we can go down the line of all the stuff that Tasha stood by Ghost on. That you can make an argument that most women would have left Ghost high and dry. The very first one was when he had the issue when you remember with Tommy, when Tommy first was missing and stuff like that, and he didn't know where he was at because Tommy thought Ghost was working with Angela to possibly set him up. She knew at that time that Ghost was cheating on her doing that, but she decided to still help him. After that, we had an incident where he needed Ghost help to take out Lobos. Remember, he used her as an alibi for the Bassett Hotel situation. She could have told him, "No, you with that other bitch, go use her, figure it out." But no, what did she do? She went ahead and did her duty as a wife because she's still the mother of she she understood duty. That's another thing that I like about Tasha. She understood duty because even though they wasn't together, she still was a mother first, and she knew, she was still putting her duty as a wife, meaning like whenever something's going on with these children, even though we're not together, I'm gonna make sure I run it by Ghost first. Like when Tariq was acting up, she still ran it by Ghost, even though they were separated. When Ghost needed her, she still was there for him. Why? Because she knew that would be still for the benefit of their children. And of course, she held him down when he went to jail. She didn't have to. She could have let his ass stayed up in there and then tried to, go and try to find her another dude. She could have done that. Now, was that ideal? Probably not, but still. The thing is, some women to get revenge, they probably would have tried to just say, I'm gonna let his ass stay in there. That's what he get. But she didn't do that. All right, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Do you think Tasha would have took a bullet for a ghost like Angela did? I think she would have, bro. I really do. I know that I think that's probably going to be a controversial topic, but I think she possibly would have. And I could even make an argument to say Angie didn't necessarily take a bullet for him. She took a bullet for him, but I'm gonna say this: I can make an argument she didn't intentionally take a bullet for him because she kind of technically was trying to just move him out of the way and then ended up getting hit. It's not like she jumped her body in front of him to take the hit. She moved his head out the way, and then that ended up exposing her. She got it. That's how I kind of seen it. But I mean, y'all can give me your opinion. Angela left Tommy, left Ghost behind the same way Lauren did Tariq in book 2, season 3 finale. I don't think that Angela or Tasha were right for Ghost, nor Ramona. She was an opportunist. For the record, a sister wife is the other woman in a poly relationship or in a pimp's stable. Hmm. Well, you got to pick somebody, nigga. Tasha was a thought, though. I'm good. Hey, that is now you kind of getting a strong argument because she was a little out there. I give you that. And she was quick to go out there once she Ghost wasn't really giving her the attention. She was busting it open. Ramona was the best, and I'm sticking with Ramona. Nigga, Ramona is not a Joyce. I hate they gave Tasha that thought stigma, so I made her good bad, especially to the men fans. Hey, it is what it is. Angela helped him with so much after the Greg Knox murder, and even when she knew he took the sketch of Tommy in season 2, she stuck around. That's true, but let me ask you this: do you think um, she would have stuck by him if he didn't help her keep her job? Because keep in mind, she was only able to keep her job because Ghost made Ruiz move out of town so that Isabel wouldn't be available to testify. So if he didn't fix that for her, I don't think she would have stuck around. Just saying. Yeah, her boss had to be fired for sure because the way Terry was, and shit, Terry and goddamn Quentin was acting. That shit had to be fired. And then I don't know. I think Kanan done had it before, and the way he was trying to get back in. I keep saying Ghost and Tasha were written to act like white couples. Yeah, they were for sure to a degree. You're not the only person I heard to say that to support. Yeah. I'm picking Angie. She took a bullet for him. She loved him to death, literally. That's a strong argument, but I'm gonna go back to what I said. I think she just got it. That small ass apartment, I could tell she couldn't cook. Angie took the bullet because she lost everything at that point. Early Tasha would have took a bullet too. Tasha was ready to take a gun charge spots. Facts. Facts. She had the gun under. Oh, come on, man. Y'all folk gotta put some respect on Tasha's name, man. Hell no, Tasha ain't taking no bullets. She got to take care of the kids. That's the only thing I was thinking about. I'm gonna say that I was thinking about that because, um, she still got to have somebody there to take care of the kids. So the circumstances were different. If Angie had kids, she may would have done it either. That's going by. She actually took the bullet for. To your argument about Tasha thinking Ghost was a threat to her own kids, I believe if Tasha would have got inside of truth 5 seconds sooner, she would have convinced to read. Not 100% agree. 100% agree. Cause remember how I told you, I said even if Ghost would have ended up getting up into that, um, if he would have ended up getting up into the car and Tasha supposed to shot him, I don't think she would have went through with it. I think it just would have ended in the argument. They liked them old school women. Tasha was solid, even when she clowned her about Destiny Child. When Tasha still snitched about Terry Silver, even though Ghost snitched on her daycare. Right. Ghost snitched. She only did that. Come on. All the ammo Tasha had on Ghost, she never snitched on it. Never sent him to jail. Angie been back what? maybe a year and slapped a cuss on him for her thinking. Like that's another thing. Here's another thing that's a knock against Angela. I'm gonna give y'all. She arrested this nigga over her her speculation that he killed Greg. No proof of it at all. That's somebody you love, right? So she went through with her emotions. All the stuff Tasha went through, Tasha could have did some foul play and got him arrested too because of all the stuff he did that hurt her. But she never did nothing like that, right? Angela did not consider his kids. She didn't consider none of that shit. And then on top of that, she did it very, she did it in a very embarrassing way. She arrested this nigga in the middle of his clubs full of thousands of fans in front of the dudes, the company that you just signed a major deal with, making him look like a criminal, messing up potential business deals. Because even if you do get proven innocent, folks still gonna have in the back of their head, why was he the one that they target? You know what I'm saying? Out of anybody. He must be into something, the reason she thought it was him. Even if he didn't necessarily do that, what has he done possibly to make her think, he was capable of that? You gotta consider all of that shit. She didn't give a fuck. She went and arrested that nigga. So that's another major knock on Angela, if you ask me. Now I still think Angie don't deserve all the slander she gets because she made up for herself a lot towards the end. Because she held them folks down. Now I give her that. Folks be slandering her like she didn't hold them folks down, and she didn't ultimately end up getting killed because she was protecting everyone. Even Tasha had to admit that at the end. James didn't even James didn't need even Tasha or Angela. James needed Ramona. Tariq liked Ramona more than Angela. Tariq didn't even have a thought towards Ramona, nigga. Hezekiah is right in a way. Steven, we all saw the show. So you posting synopsis is kind of pointless. We want your opinion. We could we could ready IMDb / Power Universe Wikipedia when we're not on live. Right. I don't like it. That's why I be trying to not be rude, but some of the times I just ignore the comments because like it's pointless. It's not helping the overall, quality of the live that we're doing. You're saying a bunch of stuff that I'm pretty sure majority of us already know. And then of course I more than likely I already know it. I'm just saying I watched the hell out of this show. And if I don't know, I'm gonna ask y'all what was the name of whoever, what was that scene, what episode was this? I ain't got no problem with asking if I don't know it. But yeah, I don't be meaning to be rude when I, ignore some of your comments, but like it just be pointless. She knew she was gonna go broke if she let go stay in jail. That's a strong argument, bro. I give you that. Cause I think that's to a degree that is true. But either way, she still did it. Come on, some women are foolish enough to get in their emotions and won't be able to see the bigger picture, and to be so mad they'll be like, "I don't give a damn. I'm gonna let him stay in there." Come on, women that do shit like that. Tasha would take a bullet for Tariq, not get James. That might be true. Angela was the real villain. What? Angela was the real villain. Angela locked up Tommy and Ghost. She tore the whole St. Patrick family apart. Ooh, that's a strong argument. Hey, we about to go ahead and tap into that villain segment in a few minutes. I'm trying to see how many more comments is up in there. Honestly, Ghost need a white woman that will remain drama free and help support his dreams. Perhaps, but perhaps Ramona could have been that for him. Y'all saying that Ramona was an opportunist, but I don't know if I can agree with that. Because, like I told y'all, I believe if Ramona was an opportunist, she would have chose Rashad. That would have made more sense for me if you're an opportunist. I'm not buying that Angie knew damn well that Bullet was hitting her the moment she moved goes. Facts. Thank you. I know. I'm glad to see it wasn't just me because I don't think she knew that shit either. Kane never smashed Tasha. Okay, nigga. I think I'm super behind on comments, so I'm gonna kind of drop down some because I'm trying to catch up. You gotta give. Come on, Ollie. You gotta give. You gotta give Angie a little bit of points, man. She she knows she ain't have a plan like her mama said, and no legit money to even start her own life without ghosts while she was in jail. You said he was disagreeing with me. Hold on, let me make sure. I'm not buying that. Angie knew damn well that bullet was hitting her the moment she moved. Okay, so you're disagreeing. It don't matter to me. I'm saying I don't think she did. Look at bro. Matter of fact, hold on. I'm gonna have to start cooking before we go to this next segment. Let me go ahead and start pouring this water in and turn this damn stove on. Hold on. God damn, my shit going slow. Come on, man. All right. Let's look at this shit real quick. Y'all can't tell me she she pulled. Let me look at it. Maybe I'm tripping. Let me see. It looked like to me she was just moving that nigga head out the way. She was trying to protect him, no doubt. But she wasn't planning on getting hit. She wasn't anticipating she was about to get hit herself. Fuck that. Oh, look at that Roy. Roy. Come on, man. I love you, Angie. Bruh. No, bruh. I don't care. No, bruh. No. She seen that nigga. She tried to move him out the way. She wasn't jumping, you know what I'm saying, in the way, trying to take it from him. No, I disagree. I disagree. She wasn't trying to take it from him. She was trying to move that nigga out the way and so happened to get hit. Now it been different. A scenario, let's say they had a little distance between each other. and then he was aiming at her. She seen it. She jumped in the way. Like she literally jumped her body in the way and took the hit. That'd have been different. But she tried to move his head because he was aiming for her head, his head, and moved. And then she ended up getting her ass hit. So yeah, I might disagree with that. I agree. Ghost is with Ramona right now. Yep. Everyone lives a happy life if Angela doesn't come around. I'm just I'ma just say it's not one sided when it comes to Angie and Tasha. Ghost not dead. He with Ramona, nothing can stand in his way. Right. It's like Ramona said. Some dudes are just unstoppable. Their mind ain't there. Y'all gonna Tommy a smooth criminal just walked out. Right. Smirked and just walked out. Nigga screamed louder for Angie than he did for Raina. Nah, but she took a bullet for him. I can't deny that. But I'm saying I don't think it was intentional. Tommy even spoke about him having a wife in front of Angela. Right. Because Tommy was trying to prevent that shit. He seen that shit coming. I don't know. He Ghost let out a pretty mean, Roy when Raina died too. Y'all forgot. Y'all gotta give him a little credit. I know. Fuck. You forgot about that, right? When she was saying when Tasha was on him saying our daughter is gone. Come on now. Y'all can't be doing ghosts like that, man.
I carried that girl in my body. Fuck! On you. What happened to going clean? I'm going to take care of it. There is no taking care of it. You can't fix this. Our daughter is gone. No! Fuck!
See? That's Verena. That was Verena right there. He said that shit was weak though. Oh man. Ghost and Andrew just gets caught up on all the hunching they missed. The bug is you slow. Tommy literally spoke about James having a wife in the diner with Angela and Ghost there. Okay, where are they coming from? Yeah, he told Ghost first told Angela he was married in episode 4. The diner episode was what episode was that? I want to say they had to have been maybe episode 5 or 6. 6 probably. Yeah, I think 6. Y'all keep saying Ghost is still alive, but let me see you fall from that high. After getting shot, no way you get up and walk away like a goddamn. Well, they about to have him do it because that nigga alive. Ghost was shot by Tariq the same way Tommy shot Angela. R.I.P. to the GOAT. All right. Hey Ali, we gonna make sure we gonna let's take our names right now because we gonna get these niggas soon as he come back um next what in November. Nah, he ain't gonna come back in November. Probably like December. This nigga gonna show up. This nigga gonna show up. Merry Christmas, motherfuckers. Y'all thought his Christmas got canceled. No, sir. He said Angela didn't know Ghost was married till season 6. Oh, he probably meant episode 6. But it happened before that. Either way. I thought it's good. Like Angela knew he was married and still broke up a happy home. Paz even called her out on it too. DeMarcus thinks if Tasha told her he was married, she would have backed out. So I'm gonna say this, Kenny. I think it would have. See, look, the difference between the two things, right? If Tasha, right then and there, right when they were meeting, before the emotions got to get attached, keep this in mind. Um, before any emotions would attach, if Tasha would have walked straight up on her right when he was getting her number and be like, "Hey, who is this? I'm Tasha, his wife." Angie probably would have backed off. It would have been totally different than Ghost hanging out with her. He kissed her once. Remember that after one of their dates, and he bought her a necklace after she was saying she had a fake necklace that turned her neck green, but she wore it till it fell off. Nobody's ever bought me nice things or anything like that. And then remember the title of it was "This Is Real." Episode 4, "This Is Real." It was referring to that diamond necklace that he bought her, right? And it wasn't until then, once Yasmin choked over that dolphin keychain that they had from the other date they had, which is when they had their first kiss in 16 years, 18 years, whichever one it was. And that's when he seen her later on confess to her that he was married. So that was episode 4. The emotions was already attached then. They had already kissed. He had already bought her gifts. They had already went on dates, reminiscing about the old times. They got emotional attachments. If Tasha could have intervened before the attachments started, it would have been different. The way Amari described the character in that All the Smoke interview, it's safe to say he's dead, bro. No, I don't think so, because I looked at the same interview. He also alluded that it was an episode 16 that was never aired. Keep that in mind. I strongly disagree. I think that interview actually could be more in my favor that he's still alive. The Marcus just be yapping all across YouTube. Now I see why Kenny and Steven get along now. I'm canceling stars if this nigga come back. Go on here and cancel your description, nigga. He coming. We never got Ghost's perspective when he died. Exactly. And that's the episode 16 I'm talking about. In that same interview, he said there was 16 episodes instead of 15. He was still alive when he told Tommy to go. Yeah, I almost think the nigga may have faked his death so that Tommy would go ahead and leave. Because as long as he was, still feeling that he was alive, he probably would never, never would have. He probably never would have actually left. He needed him to leave so that he can get in that damn ambulance and finish his plan. If Neek cannot be, what's that? West started after getting his head beat in, and Kanan somehow survived getting burnt alive after being stabbed in the stomach. When then Ghost can survive as well. Facts. Just saying. But these are facts, bro. All this other stuff these other folks survived, and you telling me Ghost can't survive one shot just because he fell over the balcony? This shit went that high. Now, could you argue that it would have made him paralyzed, perhaps? Yeah, but you can also gain that shit back, possibly. Ghost was still gonna chase after that Mexican kitty. She's actually Puerto Rican, but she was gonna give it up. Maybe, but all I'm saying is I think it would have changed it a little bit. I think that'd be a good topic, bro. The most unintentionally funny moments. Zeke could be heavy in that motherfucker. That nigga was hella funny without trying. Y'all have selective hearing and y'all are fanatics of that character. Y'all gonna see though. Okay. Okay. Can't wait to get on y'all last once he come back. You have fair play in the other bald head nigga make theory videos that never come true. Who's the other bald head nigga? Ghost fails so far he needed he, he needed a parachute. No, I've just been keeping my name in his mouth back and forth like and I'm not listening to him. He's on that bullshit. Cool, wait. So Angela can't survive being shot once, but somehow Ghost can, and they got shot the same way after the same exact way. Well, Ghost is Ghost. Angie is Angie. That's first out. Second, a lot of folks are under the impression that Ghost may have had on a vest. Also, he could have switched them bullets to be rubber bullets. Keep in mind, when you get shot by a rubber bullet, it can cause bleeding, but it won't be fatal. So it's a different couple ways it can be spent. Y'all ain't finna convince me. Oh, Nate Almighty, my boy. That's crazy. I call goes out on his mess, but he alive though. I hope. Oh, I know you was talking about Kitty. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move to the other topic. We was on this one a long time, bro. Like we was on this motherfucker like an hour. This topic. Let's go ahead and move to this last one though. All right. So Tasha. Is Tasha the true unforeseen villain of power? I mean, of course, a lot of people don't look at her as the villain because you had so many hideous species that came out throughout the show. But some people believe that she was the true villain that was the start and the cause of all of the events, where a lot of the events that took place that ultimately led to Ghost's alleged demise, Kanan's demise, Angela's demise, Lakeisha's demise. We can make some strong arguments. So we're going to open this thing up. Is this really, is she really the villain of Power that folks not paying attention to? Because of course, typically when you think about villains of Power, you're gonna think Kanan, Lobos, Jason, Dre, people like that. Some even say Ghost. You said she was violent for killing Lakeisha. Why so? All Tasha did wrong was hunch, and usually that's not a standard for black mothers and shows. Mecca the villain. You know what's funny? You can't, not for the original Power at all. I was gonna say since he was snitching on Lobos, but that didn't really affect the storyline. So no, no, she messed up, but she was really solid for the whole family, and she was just like 30. Well, by the end of the series, she was like 36. Yeah, still kind of young. Courtney Kemp was the villain. If Mecca doesn't snitch, then Lobos not under investigation by the Eastern District. Without that, they're not looking into ghosts, and Angie may have never. Damn, damn, you right. You know what? I forgot that is how it went. But let me say this though. Actually, I got to give you some pushback because I had to think. So think about it this way: if that didn't happen, let's say that the Angie was never put on Lobo's radar. Angie and none of the federal prosecutors was on to them. Keep in mind, Lobos was planning on killing both Ghost and Tommy once Ghost refused. You know what I'm saying? Once Ghost refused to accept his offer to take out Tommy and become his sole distributor of the country. Remember that. So I can also make a strong argument that maybe Ghost and Tommy would have died if it wasn't for Angela. So, what you got to say to that? Keep my name out your mouth and wait for that BMF season 5 that's never coming. It sure like coming for what it looked like. I don't know. Remember, Sachs told Tariq without Mecca, they may never conduct an investigation on Ghost. Yeah, yeah. And I had to think about it for a second, but I remember what I just told you. Gotcha. Tasha can't be the good mother on one hand, and be the villain in the other hand. So it don't go together. Them still being in the game with teens was the problem. They should have moved, but let Tommy run the streets and clean money behind the scenes. Well, I'm pretty sure Ghost wanted to do that. Imagine if Tasha would set up Dre, what would have happened? It would have changed the stuff, I'd say. Tasha was willing to have Ghost killed if he threatened her children. Yeah, that's a case of her being the villain, but it's also a little understanding as well. Little under, you kind of can understand that if she feel like he's a major threat to your children, and possibly about to take one of them out after you already done lost one, you can kind of understand why she might come to that conclusion that he has to go. That's true. Angie exposed the investigation. My counter argument to that is that only happened because he said his territory in California was irretrievably compromised. That's true. If that doesn't happen, Lobos doesn't need Ghost to move double the weight. Great counter. Great counter. BMF season 5 not coming, just like Unique wasn't Breeze. So I guess what Hezekiah may have hit it on the nail. Angie was the real villain. Unintentionally, I mean she didn't, intentionally come and mean to mess everything up like that, but you can make a very strong argument that if Angie never would have shown up, things probably wouldn't have fell apart like that. But like he said, if Mecca didn't snitch, none of Angela wouldn't have came at all. And he could have just stayed with Tasha the whole time. Would have been very interesting to see how that actually Hezzy, that's a good one. I think I'm gonna make an individual video on that. Of course, I'll give you your credit for it. But yeah, that's actually a great way of thinking about it that I never thought about. Hmm. Damn, and he slick just shut down the chat by saying that shit. I can't even think of nothing else. Everybody really just came in here and cooked. well, well, hell, Tommy was a drug dealing murderer on one hand, and then a lovable uncle on the other. He absolutely was. That is true. Drugs were the true villain. The writing in the OG Power was kind of weak. Ghost always got extorted back into the game, just like Tariq. I actually like Ghost being in politics. And Tariq at Western Holdings. Well, I like Tariq in school, me, but yeah, and I actually what did love Ghost in politics, so I actually can agree with most of what you said, which is why I think it's a good idea that they can bring Ghost back, put him in influence, and they can have a really good show with him and Rashad. Unique got to be in power for 5 seasons. BMF didn't make it 5 seasons. They still going at it. Lance, like I said, Angela is the real villain. Well, now I think I got to go with what Hezzy said. Mecca is the real villain. Okay, so would that be a reason Tariq got connected to Tahadas due to Mecca? I mean, yeah, you can make an argument that all of this is related. Because let's say this, because let's say Mecca never snitched, right? So the Lobo situation is still the same. Um, I don't know though, Hezzy. I got a counter. I don't sat here and thought for a while. Let me see. Let me go ahead and try to cook real quick. So keep in mind that if let's say that he didn't need to double the weight. He didn't need to double the weight happening, but keep in mind the organizations were still being hit, right? And Kanan had a plan originally before Ghost was able to 100% confirm that Kanan was the one behind the hits. Keep in mind, he just had his speculations at first. He wasn't able to 100% confirm it until Sean put the gun on, which was episode 9. But Tommy got arrested in episode 8. So, with that being said, let's say, Lobos never had the intentions to killing them because, he didn't need double the weight move. That still doesn't change the fact that Kanan was trying to take over the organization. So let's say he actually showed up to the Lobos meeting like he was originally planning to do, and he makes the pitch to Lobos like, look, they whole organization is not backing them. They all back me. I'm the one that taught them everything they know, and I'm capable of moving your product just as well or even better than them. Plus, I got the organization behind me. Would Lobos have went ahead and gave Kanan the green light to take them out and took Kanan since he had control of the organization? Because keep in mind, although it did seem like Lobos was a somewhat loyal to Ghost because he did turn down Ruiz, but it's like Kanan said, you didn't have all your ducks in a row. Kanan had his ducks in a row. So would Lobos have turned on Ghost and Tommy and accepted Kanan's offer? Because keep in mind, that's what would have happened if Angela didn't intervene. So either way, it could be have been the end of Ghost and Tommy, whether Angie was involved or not. So, what is the counter? I knew I was gonna think of something. That nigga ain't for the win tonight. Okay, so would that be a reason Tariq got connected to the Hotters? Okay, I read that. Angela not the villain. So y'all saying Angela walking in the club, True, was investigating Ghost already. No, they're not saying that he was investigating Ghost already. They were saying that she only came over there in that area, really, because of the Lobos task force. So if the Lobos task force was never created, it's possible maybe she never would have been over there. That's the argument they claim. Nigga, a broken record. Kenny keeps yapping. Find something else to say, goof ass. Hey, did this happen last time, like a while back, bro? These niggas funny. How was Lobos the biggest villain? Tasha, she manipulated her son Tariq into setting up Kanan for murder. No, I don't think Jason. You can. I don't even think you can make that argument for Jason. He said Angela was the tribal chief. Mecca was the final boss. The final boss. Ghost was being hit every way, but he claimed he couldn't. He could fix it. Hey, didn't my nigga find a way to fix it? That's still not the point I was making, bruh. Okay, I guess he talking to him. Yeah, I do think Lobos would have turned on them if Kanan came. So if that was the case, then that means they still it still would have been the same dilemma, right? That either way, it still would have ended with what I originally said: the death of Ghost and Tommy would have happened, and Kanan would have been running the streets. So you kind of can't say, So even if Mecca didn't do whether Mecca did that or not, the outcome would have been the same had Angela not intervened. So you kind of can make an argument for the ones that trying to say it's Angela. I can make a counter argument that Angela was the hero because she saved them on more occasions than anyone. Really, you can legit make a strong argument for that. Ghost would have been one down a long time ago if it wasn't for Angela. He would have got killed or arrested, or Tariq would have. Well, Mecca didn't necessarily have nothing to do with Ghost necessarily. Remember, in book two, Ghost, when Mecca was introduced, Cooper Sachs was talking to Tariq, and like I want to say that was like episode 8 or something like that, 208, and he was telling Tariq that the only reason why Eastern District, the district that Sachs, Angela, John Mock, all of them was working for the Lobos task force. The only reason why they were on to Lobos is because they got an anonymous snitching tip from um, Mecca that made them look his way. So without that, they never would have even known of Ghost. They only started investigating Ghost because they were trying to get Lobos. So without Mecca snitching on Lobos, none of that would have happened. That shit sounded like white woman babble, Jay. What do you mean? No one definitely listened to your banning, blocking, dry snitch day. Shut the fuck up. Lobo stock goes could have his own cartel, right? I don't know if he turns on Ghost. So you're on the fence of basically whether or not he would have turned on Ghost. But keep in mind, Lobos is greedy. He care about his money. If he felt like if he was convinced that Kanan could keep the money flow going, and Ghost and Tommy was incapable of doing so, he just may would have done that. You said without Angie, Ghost's head would have been in the game. But keep in mind, you just agreed that you felt like Tommy. I mean that Lobos would have went ahead and accepted Kanan's offer, so that means it would have been the death of Ghost and Tommy, right? So Angie is a non-factor. If she didn't intervene and arrest Tommy to stop Kanan from, interrupting the meeting, then they possibly would have been taken out by Kanan. You trying to debate logic with logical response. You just trying to be a smart ass, but you know that I already, little dude. Angela was an anti-hero. It's crazy. Folks don't want to give Angie no props, bro. Mecca was a hater. Mecca was trying to save his own ass. I actually think Ghost would have figured out that Kanan was hitting them because he would have been more hands on in their meetings. That's a good argument. I'll give you that. So you're saying basically, if Angela wasn't in the picture, he would have been paying more attention to other things in relations to the game than spending some of his time trying to make sure he get out to be with Angela. Could make a strong argument with that. Yeah. Because I do feel like Angela was, you know, gave him more ambition to want to get out the game. Because at first it was just, him wanting to, but like, he didn't really have nobody there to support what he actually want. Now I do think either way, eventually he would have did it still, but it would have took a little while because he needed to gain some kind of emotional support. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair argument. When did 50 confirm BMF was canceled? 50 be trolling like you be banning and blocking. It's not an insult, it's observation, brother. You ain't gotta type my name anymore, please and thanks. Loyalty blind, it goes to Canaan that messed him up too. How come y'all post all these great theories on other times, but then come here full fledged trolling? At times it can be funny, but nobody came here to be disrespected out there. Yeah, I just look over them, bro. Some of them do be funny as hell, though, I gotta say. He also would have learned, leaned, I'm sorry, on Tasha more. And I think that she may have convinced him that Kanan was hitting them the whole time. Yeah, collectively together, they more than likely definitely would have figured it out, but they kind of was derailed a little bit with the situation going on with Angela. Had to remember how much Tommy said his head wasn't in the game in the first couple of seasons. Ah, shit. I didn't mean to do that. All right. Well, look like we're getting a little dry, but I mean, I think this was a pretty good damn. We had some pretty good damn topics, especially the last two. Yeah, the finesse one was pretty damn good too. Yeah, it's a good live. What are we talking about? Blocked. Angela saw the good in James/Jamie and to shed his identity as Ghost to become a successful, legitimate business man. Only that side. You know that he comments can still be seen on the screen even if you block Sam. Ain't nobody blocked. He didn't block him. It's hilarious that the Three Musketeers trying to clap back at me, however, piggybacking everything I say. Yeah, these niggas still trying to group me with other niggas. I call you an idiot on my own. Anyways, let's go ahead and get ready to wrap this thing up. What time is it here? We got 2. And I gotta do some prepping because I actually got a homie that's coming up to the reparations. I mean, coming up to the morning show, and is I got somebody that's involved in the reparations committee. So if anybody, I think I kind of feel like all in. I know D is not in here right now, but I think y'all probably will be a little interested in this. I got somebody that's part of the Black Reparations Committee in California. I mean, he's more national though because he's not from California, but since he's been living there for a decade, he's kind of with the California people. But still, yeah, I'm going to be introducing a lot of details on how close we actually are. 'Cause I think we're kind of unaware as a whole of how close certain places are at getting reparations passed for descendants of slaves. So anybody that's interested in that, I will be covering that in the morning show at 10 o'clock Central Time. So make sure y'all tune in for that. Or you can, of course, if you can't tune in later on, I will be putting it in, putting it out later for you to go back and review it. Yeah, 10 o'clock Central Time. Imagine if Victor was Ghost half brother because he was in season one for a couple of episodes and disappeared. That is very strange, and I was wondering that why Victor was there. In seasons. I think Victor was there season two as well. Yeah, he was in season two as well. Then he disappeared. Because I remember him being in the van when they got pulled over by the police. They were searching. They did the search, and then of course they didn't find nothing but dirty laundry. Hey, Buckets, yeah, Gavin Newsom did shut it down, and that's kind of what we're going to be covering a little bit. Dang, that's kind of crazy. You making a point that my brother that's gonna come on with me tomorrow made that I said I think a lot of people is unaware of that, but the fact that you know that kind of leaning towards him being right. That's crazy. But yeah, Gavin Newsom absolutely shut down the reparations in California, and it wasn't just Gavin Newsom. Kamala Harris was a part of that too. A lot of people don't know that. That's why I kept telling folks she wasn't for us. A lot of people don't read and pay attention to shit though, but both of them collectively together work together to shut it down. But it's still being pushed. It's not over. They didn't just give up. We're closer than ever at getting some of this shit passed. They keep on trying to make excuses to prolong it and stop it, but these folks been pushing and fighting pretty damn hard on trying to get this shit done. And we're going to basically collectively go over it, briefly in the morning show. And then I have the podcast that's coming Sunday. We're going to have the podcast and actually have him and I think possibly another person that's like a seasonal vet at the reparations committee that's going to come on it as well and kind of explain everything that's going on, how close we are, what we got to do, what does this mean to other peoples in other areas, who's eligible and to qualify for it, all kinds of things like that. So I think that's going to be something very interesting that people should definitely tune in to. So hey, that's good. Hey, that's really good, Buggets, to know for real. So Slim, I mean, all of us can still see you, I think. You remember the Dave Chappelle episode when them niggas got money? I don't, but see, I got a very strong opinion about the reason why, because there's a lot of niggas that's against, at least rich niggas, of course, that's against reparations, and I got my reasonings for why I think that is. That's a fact, Hezekiah. The only reason why they was voting for Kamala Harris was because they hated Trump. And the craziest part, like I'm not trying to go too political, but I'm gonna say this and be down with it. The craziest part about this is that you're willing to vote for somebody you don't know what they stand for because you hate somebody else so much. And every time I ask them what's the reason why they hate Trump, they can never give you a real answer. That lets you know there that is a media influenced type of situation. Like they'll say he's racist, cool, just like every other president. But when you ask them for more details, most of the time people can't ever explain it. So yeah. Yeah, and that's what's really wild. The fact that folks, and I know that to happen a lot, like this stuff legit ended friendships and some people family stop talking to each other over this. And I'm like, bro, it should never be that deep. That is crazy. Yeah, I'm aware of Tariq Nasheed, bro. I'm aware of him. Can't say I watch him too much, but I very much am aware of him. Kamala wasn't the less of both evils, though. That's the problem. I disagree with that. I'm sorry. She was not. If you dig into, especially if you live in California and you pay attention to all the shit she did, I would disagree. Anyways, they never could give you a real answer. My best friend called me a Trump endorser because I never let the media sway me into hating him for nothing. I'm the same way. I was like, bro, how I see it is he's no different from the rest of them. Y'all say he's racist. So is Joe Biden. We got him on record. I can pull up videos of him being racist. Y'all forgave him. He said he wasn't going to force you to get the vaccine. He lied about that and did just that. You can say the same for all of these presidents. If you keep digging, you're going to find out that they're all racist. So why is Trump the sole one that y'all so angry about? Because the Democrats keep on telling you he's bad, he's terrible, he's a threat to democracy, he's a dictator, all this stuff that they're saying because they don't want to give up their power. Even when he do something, it was so bad that even when he did something bad, they'll make up some bullshit and say that was bad. And then it got so bad that Democrats had to start coming out and say, bro, we can't hate this man so much that we just lying about the good things that he did doing. Because at some point, we got to be for America first, not our party. Because if you're going to hurt America just because you want to lie for your party, that is insane. That's the truth, all in. And see, I love people that are able to have conversations and not let it get personal. I don't care if you're for Trump. I don't care if you're for Kamala. I don't care who you for. As long as you keep it respectful, you respect me as a man, I respect you as a man, or I respect you as a woman. You know what I'm saying? That's all that really should matter. You can agree to disagree and still have great love for each other. Now, if you supporting somebody that say, "Oh, I want all," if this nigga like, "I want all niggas to kill," and you see he just straight up killing them, you just supporting them, yeah, you should separate yourself from that. But all this stuff that they've been saying about Trump is hearsay shit. How I look at it. And to me, both of them damn near arguably are racist. You can argue for both of them. But the thing is why is they only saying it for one side? But anyways, that's not what this live supposed to have been about. I just wanted to put that out there, letting y'all know that we will be talking about that in the morning show. Also, when the podcast comes Sunday, that'll be a topic, a hot topic. Been finding out ancestry and it gets scarce over in 1800s for us. Imagine if Alice Lepre, aka F, is using her getting arrested as a twisted way to keep talking and promoting force and power legacy. It could very much be that. I wanted Trump to win that because he's pro crypto. I turned 250,000 into one. I do use bro. I don't know how I knew this without knowing that was what you was thinking. And I'm stick on the same wave, bro. Like I had some crypto too, and obviously that shit skyrocketed when he won the election. And if you just own a certain tax bracket, it just don't make sense for you to want what I've wanted commonly to win. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. For the people that are rich that was pushing for them, they're either just idiots or they're lying to you because they're being paid to do so. Like y'all gotta realize these celebrities aren't for us. Never listen to celebrities when it comes to shit like that because they're never gonna tell you the truth. They are all evil. Nobody should be supporting any of these people, but they do. Yeah, I think we should be focusing on collectively, making moves for ourselves, instead of relying on them. At least Trump straight up. That's really what made me say he was the better pick. Me personally. Because he's straight up about it. The nigga don't lie and stuff like that. He said he gonna build a wall. What that motherfucker do? He gonna build a wall. He said he gonna deport them damn illegals. What he do? Deported the illegals. He said he gonna put the military in certain cities and stuff like. What did he do? He did that shit. So even if a nigga tell me if I got a racist that's saying nigga I hate you, you know what I'm saying? I hope you don't succeed and stuff like that. I despise you. And I got another one that's sitting there acting like he my friend, but in actuality, he's stabbing me in the back. Give me the loudmouth idiot any day. I'm gonna take the loudmouth idiot. I'm sorry. 1800s is far enough. My lineage goes back to 1790s here in America. I am FBA to the bone. Hey, that's good, bro. I ain't voting for none of them if they ain't putting policies in place for our people. Hey, that's how I feel too. Okay, I've been up at night finding all types of info. We are looking for our native sides too for healthcare. I love to hear that, sister. Keep researching and bringing that enlightenment in this dark world. It's more about a popularity test. All right, good people. I'm actually glad to see that all of us pretty much is in agreement on that, and it just didn't spark. And see, and it's crazy. This is all the folks that's in here is pretty much my favorite people of it. I really fuck with everybody that's up in here right now, and that's what it is, bro. Like instead of dividing, even if we have a difference of opinion, we should always choose us first. That's the answer to getting out of this shit. If you pay attention, the other ignorant groups, that's what they do. They're gonna choose themselves first. Even if Johnny is dead wrong, guess what? Johnny is one of us. So we're gonna deal with him with the way we're gonna do it, but y'all not gonna touch him. But when one of us do something wrong, go on here. He deserved that. She deserved that. Trump family crypto empire expands with crypto.com partnership. This was announced today. Nigga, I just got through putting some more money up in crypto too, bro. It's crazy. they have the money flow, it keeps people together better. All right. So yeah, though, I gotta go ahead and prep up for that. Gotta get make sure I got things in order for the morning show. Also, I haven't even edited the morning show or from today or the night the night show from yesterday. So I gotta do that tonight. So I need to go ahead and cut this a little. Well, it really ain't cutting it short because it's nearly 3 hours. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump up off here, people, so that I can be prepared for the morning. I was um a little unorganized today. Um, well, really yesterday morning now, but and I want to make sure that's not the case with tomorrow's show. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here and get this stuff in order, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the morning or tomorrow night. But much love to all of y'all. I'm gonna see you.